Captain Carlos Torres will be talking about a DMC initiative. Captain Carlos Torres is one of the acting majors right now, I do believe, in the absence of Major Patty Wells. He will talk to you about the DMC initiative. Captain Torres is the Orange County Sheriff's Office commander for the Community Relations section. Captain Torres.
Thank you, Jeff. Outstanding. Well, good morning, everybody. I would like to introduce Ms. Corpore. She's been instrumental in helping us out with this initiative. So I was very excited to be able to stand here today and speak about this. Why? Because we've been working for a while on this initiative. Sheriff Deming saw the opportunity to capitalize on some grant funding to be able to educate our law enforcement on this topic. And what's interesting about it is when they put the acronym on the agenda, I got a lot of feedback and people wanted to know what DMC was, and I told them, no, I'm not part of the 1980s rap group, so I'm not going to be rapping today. However, what I am going to be talking today about is promoting procedural justice with our at-risk and minority youth. And this is where it gets interesting, because what is DMC? DMC is the disproportionate minority contact, otherwise known as DMC. So is this a new thing? No, it's been going around for a while. Since 1992, the federal government has recognized that they were able to withhold funding from some states that were not recognizing this to be an issue. So why is it so important for us? Well, let's look at the state of Florida, and we're looking at the dashboard from the Department of Juvenile Justice, and these are the numbers from 2012 to 2013. And the number that we're going to focus on is on our arrest, and the minorities that are ending up in the juvenile justice system is about 6.7%. So if you look at the overall number of our age from the population from 10 to 17, there's about 21.2% of those that are considered to be African Americans. If you go down to the next line on the arrest portion, our minority youth ends up 48% incarcerated for whatever crimes they've been committing. So let's take it now and centralize it a little bit more into Orange County. In Orange County, our population from 10 to 17, we're about 24% that are considered African American, 33.1% to be Hispanic. If you go down to the second line under arrest, out of that 24%, 59.5% of our minorities end up incarcerated for whatever crimes they had committed. So once again, this brings us to open our eyes and create awareness. So when we saw the opportunity to be able to speak and instruct on this topic, we certainly capitalized it. So what does this mean? What it means is that our minority youth are being overrepresented in the juvenile justice system. And this becomes very alarming for us. Data indicates that the minority youth are more likely to be incarcerated than our white youth, even when they're charged with the same crime. So what's the cause of that? Is it because of poor decision making? Is it because of social or economical reasons? Is it because it's correlated to race and ethnicity? Or is it more a complex structural issue? Whatever the reason is, it's not acceptable, and we have to start making changes. However, hope is not lost, because as states, to include ourselves, formulate different plans and policies and procedures to be able to combat this issue, we are finding ourselves nowadays in a tough time where we have to continuously move forward and build better relationships that are formulated in trust with our communities. And how do we do that? How do we find these strategies? What do we do? What initiatives do we take? So here's what we're doing. The Orange County Sheriff's Office is one of 2 law enforcement agencies in the state of Florida that has received grant funding to be able to instruct law enforcement on the DMC issue. In addition to the law enforcement curriculum, here in Orange County, we're actually formulating a youth focus groups, which is, if we're going to instruct our law enforcement, we also have to be able to go back and instruct our youth on, how to conduct themselves, decision making. What are the issues that are surrounding their families, themselves, What is the peer pressure that they're facing? How can we be a part in giving them a fair chance and giving them an opportunity to have a wonderful and prospective and prosperous life? So within our training curriculum, we have the curriculum is based on increasing the knowledge and highlighting the the critical elements of the effective procedural justice enhancement efforts. We're going to define procedural justice. We're going to link the procedural justice to the disproportionate minority contact and what are the causes. In addition to that, we're going to focus on the causes for delinquency and the causes for and the reality of our minority youth. And this is what's interesting, is because a lot of what we have found is that a lot of our youth is getting their information and they're forming their perceptions based on what they're learning either on media or social media or what they're hearing from their friends, which at times could be incorrect information. So we're wanting to give them the most correct information that we can at the time. Our course objectives certainly are going to identify the DMC reduction model strategies. We're going to focus on diversion techniques, detention reduction, community-based alternatives, and certainly I love this word, best practices. What can we do, all of us as a law enforcement community, to be consistent in the way that we engage our communities? We're going to describe methods to develop the community youth focus forums. Once again, this is very big because once again, it's a two-pronged approach. Not only are we educating law enforcement, but we're also educating our youth. And lastly, we're going to be able to explain what the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Reduction, DMC reduction model is and how to implement it. Well, this is the best part about it, is that there's no fee. So this training is completely free of charge for anyone who wants to participate in the training, and certainly we have lots of room in our training section at the Orange County Sheriff's Office to be able to accommodate a pretty good large amount of people. We're going to have several training sessions throughout the year. Our grant has been funded for 2 years, so this is just the beginning of a long process that we're hoping is going to turn out to be a very prosperous process. And so, who should attend? Well, pretty much everybody in this room is eligible to attend. Everyone in this room should be participating in this type of program. Why? Because the more people we empower with knowledge, the more people we can actually get out there to be able to help us with this initiative. So at this point, for the sake of time, I'll pretty much wrap it up and conclude. However, for training information, you can contact me or Ms. Tekoa Pora. He's actually in charge of one of our components of the program. She's actually responsible as well for the youth focus groups. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to see you guys soon.